sao in ring shring ka e la ring asaka la ring sakala ring sao ein kling ring shring Om. Namaste. So this video is for the dev team, the developers, and other helpers on the course site project. And the purpose of this video is to create alignment and agreement and understanding on the purposes, the mission, the vision, and the benefits of this whole project. So let me backtrack. In the beginning, when I started this channel, started this whole project, the reason was that I was seeing that faith-based paths are a dead end. And especially the male-dominant hierarchical organizations based on these faith-based teachings are unworkable in today's society. What they do is they create silos, sectarian boundaries, barriers between the different teachings. And because the different teachings were separated and scattered all over the world about 5,000 years ago or so, when the one Veda was divided into four by Vyasa. Vyasa means the divider. So he divided the Veda into four, and then the four schools created by him divided further, and so on and so forth. And now we have hundreds, if not thousands, of different little specialized silos of knowledge. This will not help you to become self-realized, because when you outgrow or when you realize the knowledge in one little sectarian school, then you have to go find another school so you can do the next step. And of course, these sectarian boundaries just make it more difficult to do that. There's all kinds of social penalties for leaving one organization and joining another, which I found out the hard way. So what you have to do is then create a unified vision, a unified field theory of spirituality. And of course, that was already done for us by Shankaracharya. Sripad Shankaracharya is the greatest teacher of the modern age, about 1,500 years ago. He was the one who brought all these different pieces together into the Chatur Darshanam, the four views. And we've been over that and over that so many times, you ought to know it by now. So the four views are the core teaching. You could also say that the Paticca Samuppada, the process of becoming taught by the Buddha, is the core teaching. And you could also say that the four yogas, Karma Yoga, Bhakti Yoga, Raja Yoga, and Jnana Yoga, are the core teaching. So, does that sound contradictory? It's not. Because one of the things that we've shown in many, many videos, again and again and again, is that this fourfold division is present in all the major teachings. So the Buddha had his four noble truths, and they map directly to four different zones in the Paticca Samuppada, both descending and ascending. And those also map to the four yogas and the four darshanams. So we have this core, this fourfold core, which I call the esoteric teaching. The reason it's esoteric is because you have to transcend the boundaries between the different teachings in order to grasp it. So we've done that. We've studied all the major teachings, and we've organized all this information. And from the very beginning, about 7 or 8 years ago, we have been teaching them as a single whole. Although, of course, the different sections of the videos, different playlists, will concentrate on one or the other. So the mission is, now having said that, the mission of this whole project is to present this esoteric teaching in a way that anybody can understand. So that means we use this YouTube channel. We're going to use the course site. We're going to have some kind of social media associated with it. And eventually we're going to have an ashram so that the really dedicated students can get daily association and practice together. So that's the purpose. That's the mission. And specifically regarding the course site, which is the top project right now, we have like 700 videos. And they have many, many different topics within them. So we want to structure these videos, not only chronologically, but by topic, so that one can meaningfully start at the beginning, get the tools needed to progress step by step through the different levels until they reach the top. And so we've decided to use the chakra system as the basic structure for the videos. Why? Because everybody knows the chakras. Very few people know Paticca Samuppada or Chaturdarshanam. So we decided to do that, but also in the process show the equivalence between those and the Four Noble Truths and the Four Yogas and so on like that. So this is what we have to keep in mind as we develop these sites. That I'm trying to work up an interactive diagram that shows this, that illustrates it. That this core teaching is made up of 4 basic steps. And the chakra system, the Four Noble Truths, the Chaturdarshanam, Paticca Samuppada, the 4 Yogas, all of these go into a coherent whole. So the mission is to get this across to people, somehow or other. And part of the mission is that people should realize these things. It's not just intellectual knowledge. It's not just information. It's got to be realization. So one of the missions of the course site is to add value to these videos by, as I've already explained, organizing them into a systematic whole, but also to add educational value by means of auxiliary readings, quizzes, activities, and other educational devices, pedagogical devices, to design the courses so that they have much more impact than just the single videos. And also to monitor the progress of the students through these courses so we can determine when they're qualified to move on to the more advanced levels. So the vision I have for the course site and for the whole project is to supply 2 basic needs. The information and training needed to understand the path, and the motivational structure and facilities to actually perform the sadhana that leads to advancement on the path. And of course, that will also include assessment of a person's skills and experience, their understanding, their insight, and whether and when they're ready to move on to the next step. So, yeah, this is a big order, I know, it's a tall order. But it has to be done. Because so many people are going to be coming in the future. We know this from astrological consultations. So many thousands of people, maybe even tens of thousands of people, are going to want to study with us. And of course, I only have, 12 hours a day maybe to offer in service, and the rest of the time I have to take care of myself. So we have to create some kind of a automated system or enhancement of my skills and vision to serve so many people who are going to be coming. Whether they come just to the websites online or they come physically, the idea is the same. I'm a kind of a person who needs a lot of solitude. I thrive in it. And if I have to mix and deal with too many people and too many different kinds of people, it's not good for me. So I have to watch my exposure to other people, and especially people who are maybe have a different point of view, let's say, or who disagree, and be insulated from them by some kind of a structure that is actually helpful for them. Because the one thing that we're sure of is that we want to be helpful for people. The source of my motivation for doing this work is when I walk down the street and I look at the people and they're just so miserable. And here I am, I'm in bliss, And I'm going, why? Why do they have to suffer so much? And I remember back when I used to suffer, and I used to suffer a lot, and it was only because I did not see what was in front of my eyes. I didn't perceive what I was actually aware of. And everybody's in the same boat. We all have so many stories that we've been given or that we made up ourselves. And we use those, we put those between ourselves and the world, between ourselves and the reality. Let me give you an example. I go to sleep at night and I have all kinds of crazy dreams. I do anyway, don't you? And then I wake up in the morning and I think, oh, I'm still the same person. Was I the same person when I was in the dream? Was I the same person when I was in deep sleep? See? If you actually observe your experience, you can learn so many things. But we don't observe our experience. There's an interpretative layer in between, composed of all these stories. Stories that other people have told us about ourselves, about the world, about the way things are and the way things work. So one of the things we have to do is remove this covering, this interpretive layer of thought. We call it, technically it's called reflexive consciousness. That we see something and then we immediately interpret it. It's a reflex, it's a habit. So once we can transcend that by means of proper attendance to our perceptions, then we start to see what's really there. And when we see what's really there, it's mind-blowing because it completely confounds all of our expectations and conditioning and so on. But anyway, that's the self-realization we want people to reach. Now, how to help them get there? That's our job. So I'm very happy that so many of the viewers are joining us now, because we have a team, joining us in the effort to create this site. So if you want to be a part of this project, please leave a comment, and then especially if you have your email address or another way to contact you, then we can start a dialogue. Aung Tat Sat. Aung Shakti Aung.